Thank you. Prodigy Gold is an active greenfields exploration company in the Northern Territory. $8.5 million cash, $24 million market cap at the moment. So our focus is in the Northern Territory. We have a large portfolio and we are screening that portfolio for large gold and base metal deposits. We have 3 resources totaling 1 million ounces that we're continuing to progress. And to accelerate discovery and to bring technical depth to our team, we've executed some joint ventures with IGO and Newmont that brings in capacity for battery and base metals to be progressed within the portfolio as well. We, late in 2019, signed an operator agreement with Davidson Gold. That deal allows Davidson to use our processing plant on the mining lease for a payment of $2.3 million cash and 2.5% NSR royalty, and it's good to see them continuing with the permitting of that project. So a number of projects, a number of commodities and the right partners to get the area moving. If we look in the north of the Tanami, our Hyperion project, it sits immediately north of Northern Star's 1.7 million ounce Ground Rush deposit. We have our own 300,000 ounce Hyperion resource, gold resource. In the north of the area will be our focus for this year. Up PhD, Tregony and Bocco. There was previously a JORC 2004 resource declared on the Tregony prospect by the previous owners. Gold extending for about 3 kilometres of strike, typically only drilled to about 80 metres below surface, and 1 to 3 metre ounce plus intersections within that resource. Tregony only drilled to about 80 metres. The chute controls are not well understood, so we'll be doing diamond drilling for the first time since acquisition on this project this year to understand the chutes. The strike is open to the north at Bocco, where the structures go under shallow cover. So we'll be conducting air core drilling and then RC drilling where warranted on that target. PhD sitting a few kilometres out to the west. Our understanding of this target was greatly improved by the NT Geological Survey investing in high-density airborne magnetic data. We see a strong correlation between mag breaks and soil anomalism out here. Soil anomalism extends for originally 9 kilometres. We extended it up to another 2 kilometres at the north last year for a total of 11 kilometres. There's been only a handful of holes drilled into this target where it sticks out of the ground. In spite of this, one of the holes has 8 metres at 2.1 grams and it ended in mineralisation. So we know the structure is live. So this is the first time the northern end of the Hyperion's been permitted since the company acquired it, and we'll be up there completing air core and RC drilling and diamond drilling at the start of the field season. Coming back to the centre of the Tanami, sitting out to the west of Newmont's 14 million ounce Kali deposit, over $1 billion of capital well underway being invested into Kali. So out to the west, we have Maverick, large-scale geochem anomaly, barely bedrock drilled up in the north. Down to the south, Tabby, the right rocks, mafic-derived sediments, folded all the right ingredients, sitting under cover, have not had soil sampling because of the cover and never drilled. So some large-scale targets that we will be testing this year. One of our existing resources, Buccaneer. With the elevated sustained Australian dollar gold price, we're coming back and having another look at this resource to see if we can do better than the CIL option that was thought to be the likely path for this resource. So Buccaneer is 10 million tonnes, just under 2 grams for over 580,000 ounces. Previously, there's been metallurgical test work completed on it for heap leaching and CIL. favourable looking heap leach results of 81% recovery of the gold in transitional and oxide. Some of the composites in oxide were up to 95% recovery. So we're having another look at this, conducting conceptual evaluations. One of the gaps is our understanding of the crushing cost of the deposit. So we will be completing some diamond drilling to improve the physical properties understanding for mining and the crushing of this project. We think that the heap leach scenario is a low capital, lower operating cost entry, which will improve the value of the project, the potential margin and return for it as well. Lower cut-offs should increase the tonnes available for processing and bring more of the volume of the intrusion that this deposit is hosted in. And you can see with minor reduction in the cut-off grade, just how you get an escalation of the volume from the grade tonnage curve displayed. Intersections of up to 120 metres thick in this deposit within the vein arrays with high-grade parts to them. So seeing what we can do to get value out of the existing resources and grow them. One of the more advanced targets is the June target. This sits in the centre of the Tanami, about 30 kilometres to the north of Cali and about 2 kilometres south of Oberon. Been quite a number of rigs sitting at Oberon for quite some time the last couple of years that unless you drive past them you don't hear about. Here we defined for 1.5 kilometres of strike quite substantial thicknesses of gold in oxide. It's unusual to get gold in oxide in the Tanami without bedrock mineralisation being nearby. There's been about 20 kilometres, that's not 20 kilometres, been about 2,000 metres of drilling completed in the last 18 months. On the two northwest striking structures here, defining the gold in the oxide, the challenge here is to find that bedrock source, but we've got all the right ingredients to pull that apart. A little bit of cover around here, so we're evaluating whether to persist with RC drilling or whether there's potential to explore this with air core as well. So just an example of one of the advanced targets within the project. We've done work to progress permitting of across all of our projects in the last 18 months, and for the first time, several of the targets in the North Runter are approved for drilling. So sense of scale, this project is about 200 kilometres long. One of Australia's highest grade copper mines is the home of bullion, sitting at the eastern end of it. Good results coming from Croda previously. A lot of targets worked up by Newmont in 2006 before giving up on exploration in this part of the world. And through that, they defined several large soil gold anomalies and other multi-element coincident anomalies here that just have not been drilled. So this time we've had the heritage surveys done. We'll be out there drilling these for the first time. Planned for last year, but not what we could move in the challenges of last year. So systematic air core out here. One of the more exciting targets that we progressed last year was Reynolds Range. A fair bit of work has been done here previously. So taking advantage of last year, we consolidated the data here and worked it up. An area that's been mined before, so the Reward mine, identified on the map there, 11% copper. Oxide resource was mined here in the 1950s. For about 14 kilometres of strike, you've got a gold trend, which has been the previous focus of exploration. Some quite encouraging results coming out of that RC drilling on the map. For the existing targets, we're looking at what potential there is for strike extensions and understanding the plunge controls of these. Unfortunately, for a lot of this drilling historically done, there just was not the geology loaded into the database. It was grade-based exploration. So last year's given us the time to start building up the data, putting together those structural models to get in and commence the RC drilling. So what was exciting last year was looking through the geophysics. We identified a large-scale EM conductor at Scimitar in the northeast of the project. When the geologists went out there and ground truthed that EM conductor, it was an area that didn't have much soil sampling and no drilling into it, and there was rocks and rocks and rocks of malachite sticking out of the ground that had not been sampled before. And in this day and age, they're collecting samples of 7 grams gold, of 5+% copper sticking out of the ground. Our initial target was hoping that the copper was associated with the EM conductor. We managed to complete 1 diamond hole before Christmas, before the wet season shut us down. It showed that the EM conductor is in a different orientation to the gold. The structures don't connect. Further work showing that the gold and copper is on a 1.5 kilometre long north-south trend. In areas you're getting up to 10 metres wide of malachite at surface. So this was identified late in the year, and you see that reward mine just sitting off to the south, averaging 11%. So we will come in here and do RAB and RC drilling into that target. And when you're starting the collar in green rocks, you've got to hope that something comes out of the holes along the 1.5 kilometres of length. So quite an exciting project, just getting out and looking at the ground. Quickly looking at the JV partners' work. IGO, great bunch of guys to work with there. Very thorough, systematic exploration, looking at the battery metals, the base metals, and increasingly gold targets being identified at Lake Mackay. 200-kilometre long project. Shortly there'll be diamond drilling starting out there, drilling the base metal conductors at Freaka, raw and customisable. Freaka, a kilometre long, 1% plus copper project already. We were testing the limits of the RC drilling and couldn't get to the best part of the conductor, thus the diamond drilling. Raw and customisable, 2 of the strongest EM conductors identified in the survey. First time they're being drilled, and with diamond drilling out there. More recently, in the west of the project, soil sampling has identified gold targets. RC identified late in 2019, 12 metres at 3.5. It just keeps growing as we do more soil sampling at the western end of it. And we drilled RC holes for IGO at Goldbug, and Scissor Pair has identified a structure at Goldbug. Soil anomalism at the moment is about 700 metres long, and the first holes into that structure has got 16 metres at 1.15 grams as just one of the intersections in that hole. So that work will be recommencing in the coming weeks. The Newmont JV was set back last year with being conservative about introducing COVID into the area. That said, Falcon Gravity was completed over the project. Results of the geochem sampling that had been done returned, and 3 projects defined. This year we will see the soil sampling being completed over the rest of the project area, refining it over the 3 targets defined, and then immediately in with diamond drilling into those targets. So that project's expected to commence in April again. That's a $12 million earn-in for Newmont to earn into that project. So it's going to be another busy year in spite of the challenges of last year. On a normal year, we'd do about 20 to 25,000 metres of drilling, RC, aircore and diamond drilling. Last year, in spite of the challenges, we got 15,000 metres of drilling completed. And this year, again, we'll be aiming to do about 20,000 metres of our 100% owned exploration and add to that the joint venture partners. 15 targets planned for drilling on our 100% exploration, Plenty of targets to be drilled by the joint venture partners and 8 million cash in the bank to be able to execute that. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.